Most founders don't fail because they build too little. They fail because they build too much before anyone proves the product actually matters, and that's why I'm not jumping straight into building the full version of this SaaS. I'm building the MVP first. The MVP stands for minimum viable product, and that means the smallest version of a product that solves one real problem well enough to test whether people actually want it. I'm defining what the MVP needs to be first, because if I try to build everything this product could eventually become, I'd lose weeks, probably months or even years building features that sound smart but don't actually help me validate whether anyone cares about the core idea. So let me walk you through the product. If you remember, the product is called GuardOps. It's a SaaS building specifically for performance marketing agencies. The problem is pretty straightforward. Agencies are managing a mess of client systems. Meta Business Manager, Google Ads, GA4, Shopify accounts, domain registrations, DNS settings, who owns what, handover notes, access references, random documents, and so on and so forth. And when a client comes in, or someone leaves the team, or the agency needs to hand over an account, things get chaotic really fast. Important stuff goes missing. Ownership isn't clear. Access information is scattered across 5 different places. And that's the pain we're solving. Now, here's where a lot of people go wrong. They take a problem like this and immediately start designing the full platform. Native integrations with Meta and Google, automated synchronization, built-in password vault, advanced workflow automation, and so much more. And on paper, that sounds like a serious professional version. In reality, though, it's usually just an expensive way to procrastinate. Because the real question isn't, what could this app do one day? The real question is, what's the smallest version of this product that solves one painful problem well enough that an agency would actually care? So that's what an MVP is. Not a tiny broken version of the app. Not a fake prototype either. It's a small app that delivers one complete outcome. For GuardOps, the first complete outcome isn't become the ultimate agency operating system. No. That would be ridiculous for version 1. The first complete outcome is much simpler actually. Help an agency set up a new client properly, map out the systems clearly, and generate a usable handover report without storing any passwords. The MVP has 4 core flows in my case. First one is workspace setup. An agency creates a workspace, invites team members, and assigns simple roles like admin, editor, or viewer. Nothing fancy. No complicated enterprise permission system. Just enough structure so a real team can actually use it. The second one is new client setup. This is the heart of the product. When an agency creates a new client, they start from a template built specifically for performance marketing agencies. It's not a generic checklist. It's a real one. Paid media accounts, analytics platforms, website systems, access owners. Things like Meta Business Manager ID, Google Ads Customer ID, GA4 Property ID, GTM container, hosting provider, primary domains, DNS provider, who's the admin, who's the backup, where the credentials live, multi-factor authentication nodes, and so on. This matters because generic tools are easy to ignore. Specific tools, on the other hand, feel useful right away. Third is the client systems map. This is where the agency sees all the structured asset records for that client. I'm not talking passwords here. That's important. This is not a password manager. This only stores where the credentials are kept, like 1Password, Bitwarden, Keeper, or whatever tool the team uses. The decision is deliberate because the moment I start storing passwords, I create a much bigger security problem, a much bigger product scope, and in the end, a much bigger trust barrier. I don't need any of that to validate whether the core idea works. The fourth is offboarding and handover export. The agency can generate a clean PDF that shows the client overview, all the systems grouped by category, ownership details, credential location references, notes, and attachments. That's a real outcome and not a vanity feature. It's a deliverable an agency can actually use. Then there's one more view I'm keeping because it kinda supports the same goal. The owner map. Pick a team member and see everything they own across a client. It's simple, but very useful because part of the continuity is knowing who owns what before someone goes on vacation, quits, or just forgets where things are. Now here's the important part. This is what I'm explicitly not including in the MVP. No platforms integrations, no password vault, no complex workflow automation, no advanced enterprise multi-workspace logic, no spend tracking, no deep analytics, no automated reminders, no giant reporting suite. And this is actually the part most people miss. Every feature in an MVP should have to survive one brutal question. If I remove this, can the core problem still be solved? If the answer is yes, it probably doesn't belong in version 1. Take platform integrations. Would it be nice if the app could pull data directly from Meta or Google? Of course. But does the MVP need that to help an agency document client systems, assign ownership, and generate a handover report? No. So it's out. Let's take password storage. Some people might hear the product description and think, well, obviously it needs a vault. Not obviously, actually. That sounds useful until you think about what it actually adds. Encryption complexity, security expectations, real risk, compliance headaches, trust issues, way more development time, and honestly none of that is required to validate whether agencies even want a structured continuity tool in the first place. So it's out. Let's take complex automation, also very tempting. But at this stage, automation actually hides the real question. Before I automate anything, I need to know whether agencies even want this workflow. I need real usage, I need feedback, and I need to see what they actually update, what they ignore, what they struggle with, and what they ask for next. That comes after validation, not before. And this is why starting with an MVP isn't just about speed. It's about learning. If I build the MVP, I'm testing the core assumptions with less time, less money, and way less surface area to worry about. And because I'm planning to build this with biela.dev, this matters even more. AI tools can make you really productive really fast. You can build a lot very quickly, but that's only an advantage if you're clear about what should actually exist. Otherwise, you're just building bad product decisions faster. And that's a pretty efficient and kind of expensive way to waste your own time. So before building anything, I need a product logic to be crystal clear. Who is this for? Performance marketing agencies. What painful problem does it solve? Client setup, ownership tracking, and handover chaos. What's the first complete outcome? A team can create a client, work through a structured setup checklist, map the important systems, and export a usable handover report. Once that's clear, everything else becomes simpler. The database structure becomes simpler, the user interface also becomes simpler, the permissions become simpler. Even the pitch gets easier because the product actually says only one thing. This helps performance marketing agencies keep client system organized from setup to handover. That's clear, that's sellable. That is testable. And honestly, this is also why I'm starting with one really strong template instead of trying to be universal from day one. The template is called Performance Marketing Client. That's the wedge. Because if I try to support everyone, I become generic. If I support only one type of agency really well, I become useful. That's a way better starting point. So the MVP isn't the whole dream. It's the sharpest version of the first promise. That's the mindset shift here. You're not building everything your product might need one day. You're building the smallest version that lets the right user get the real result. For me, that means an agency should be able to create a client, run through the setup checklist, link checklist items to structured assets, track completion percentage, see ownership clearly, and export a handover PDF in just a few minutes, all without storing a single password. If that works, now I have something real. Now I can talk to agencies. I can watch how they actually use it. I can see whether the next feature should be a quarterly verification or an offboarding workflow or workspace-wide owner reassignment. But I need to earn that step by validating the foundation first. And this is the real reason I think most people should stop trying to build the full app first. Because the full app feels impressive, an MVP gives you answers. And answers are worth way more than features. So if you're building your own SaaS right now, try this. Write down your core outcome your product needs to deliver in version 1. Then list every feature you think you want. And cut everything that doesn't directly help deliver that outcome. It will probably feel a little harsh, I'm not gonna lie. That's usually a sign you're finally getting close to the real MVP. Next episode we start building. I'll walk you through setting up the project in biela.dev and building out the first core features. See you then!